Well, I'm back again, and it's been a real honor to support a lot of our first responders, as well as support some of our high school students through the quarantine time. We've had lots of time at home, and so you can see I'm still making masks. I have all the different batik colors out, and I'm doing some embroidery and getting the masks made. But today I'm going to be talking about making some T-shirt quilts. And the reason that it's a real honor to do these is because these kids are missing out. This quilt is for a young man who is a 5-sport lettered athlete. So he has wrestling, and he has track, and he has baseball, and he has football, and he has swimming. Plus he was in the school play, plus he did other fundraisers. And so it's just a real honor to be able to do something as he's missing his spring track season. So I took the fronts and some of the backs of the T-shirts and put this together. But then I also, you know how moms always have their kids' backs? Well, here are the backs to go back to. This is Mom will have his backs. And so I just simply serged these together. These are not backed in any way. I just rounded the corners, serged it all together. And then if you take the bottom of the T-shirts, you can make these strips and pull on them, and they make these circular kind of strings. So I made her a necklace with the different T-shirts that were left. You have to get the ones that are all the same length, but that's what that's made out of. And so I tried to use all the different parts of the T-shirts to get them back. So today, this is set up a little bit differently. And what's going on here is, hello Dandelion, are you helping me? Yes, this is my helper. The lawn got fertilized today, and so she can't be outside. She's a little sad and really is asking if she can go outside. But I have this set up on the backing, and then it's a very lightweight batting. Linda carries some really nice, fine, this is an all cotton lightweight batting, and I really prefer that in the quilts versus the heavier cottons. And so I have this set up, but you'll notice I have this ruler here, and it comes to 0 in the middle, and I have these markers set, and so I'm going to make sure every time I advance the quilt that these markers remain on each of the blocks. Most of the time when I do a quilt like this, I will do a pantograph. But today I wanted to show you another option, and that other option is to use blocks. And so if you look over here at the computer screen, you can choose different things to sort it by, but I'm going to choose block, and I'm going to say match tags. And these are all the different block patterns. So from here, you can look at the different ones. I could choose a volleyball there. Now, if it was a baseball or something, I might choose that one. But you can look at all of the different options. In this case, I would really like to go all the way to the corners, and I don't want it to be too feminine and so I think I'm going to go with maybe this one. We can audition that one. We could audition this one. We could audition this one. We could audition that one. And so there are some options to look at. And so as I look over here, then I think I may choose to go with this one. It's kind of simple, or I may go with this one, but they go to the corners. And so if I go over here, then I can look at how it will look on that size. So I'll be back in just a minute when I get everything all ready to position this on the quilt and show you how I get it to match up exactly with this quilt square. I'm back again. Part of being a quilter is being able to troubleshoot. And so as I was quilting this block, I did a couple of them just to get started. I wasn't happy with the stitch quality. And so on the bernina, it's really nice. You can go right up here and without stopping or changing anything. You can go right on the screen as you're even quilting and modify the stitch, the tension on the bottom. But that didn't really take care of it. And so I used a couple of tools to take care of it. One I love. This is a little magnifying glass, but it also has lights on the bottom, and I can use it to look under the quilt to see what it's looking like on the back. But all that did was tell me that there was a problem, at which point I got to do some reverse sewing. My husband asked me, what is reverse sewing? And I said, it's using the seam ripper. And then I took the bobbin and I did the bobbin tension. I changed needles. And the bobbin that I had in there didn't seem to be working right, and so I changed the bobbin that was in there. And then I was able to get the tension. Before, the tension was going, from 400 down to 100, and just bouncing back and forth. And so sometimes you just need to either rewind a bobbin or use another bobbin. So now everything is fine. I wanted to show you a little bit about how you set this up. Now this is, I failed to mention that the name of the batting that I'm using is Quilter's Dream. It's a blend of cotton, 80% cotton and 20% poly. And it launders beautifully, and it's just a really nice soft quilt. But I'll tell you, Linda is getting in Quilter's Dream Orient, and I can hardly wait to try that, because that'll be a mix of cotton and silk and bamboo. And that should be fabulous for some of your really special quilts. So let's look here. We're going to be taking care of this block. And so I want one that has a frame around the outside, because this one did not. See, I'm kind of going every other one. So over here, as I look, I think I will choose this one. And so I'm going to highlight it. And then I'm going to come over here to the tool where I can morph it to be the size. So I want to use the sew head. I want to go in 1/4 of an inch, so 0.25. And so that'll be the margin. And I'm going to have it morphed to fit. So to do that, since I'm using the sew head, I'm going to go back over to the machine. And now the screen on here has a different screen. You have to set 4 and only 4 points on this. And I'm going to put the table down, because then I'm able to see a little bit better when I want to use the laser pointer. And now I can move this over to the corner. And it's almost there, so I want to just nudge it a little bit. And I'll set one. Then we'll move it over here. Again, I'm going to nudge it. Set. Come down. Nudge it just a little bit. Set. Then I'm gonna, did I get that set? And then I'm going to come back here. Set. Then look over here at the screen. It's marked this. It shows where the needle is. I'm going to hit that. It shows the needle is about 1/4 of an inch away from where it will be sewing. And so now it's red, so that means it's active. I'm going to press the go button, and it'll say, where do you want to start? I'm going to at the start point. So now I'm going to go back over to the sew head. It will move into place. I'll bring up the bobbin thread so we don't end up with a nest on the bottom. And then I'll hit go. And you'll secure some stitches. It starts with some tiny stitches and then it goes on. You'll notice that I have this going at a slow speed. And the reason I do this on knits is because, especially when you hit some of the rubberized lettering, it can be a problem. And so when I'm doing T-shirt quilts, when I'm doing a knit, when I'm doing something that especially has like this kind of thick rubber, that can kind of grab onto the thread. And so just through experience, when I'm doing a T-shirt quilt, I'm going to slow the speed down. That's just, for me, I know that it will be a better kind of outcome. So I'm going to snip this, get it out of the way, and it will continue on and finish this block, and then I will go to the other side and set up another block. You know, when you're doing blocks, it's kind of fun if you have, like I did an Irish chain quilt for my brother who likes all things Celtic, and so on some of the blocks I did this Celtic cross, and that was a nice counterpoint. I did it in a bright thread. This one I'm doing in a gray thread to kind of match the gray fabric that this young man has chosen. So I'll be back when we finish quilting this. I'll show you what the quilt is like. When I finished doing the 4 blocks up at the top, it looked fine, but to me it needed to have some stitch in the ditch work. Now, in stitching in the ditch, there are lots of ways to do it. In an earlier video, I demonstrated how you can use the line tamer as if you're doing ruler work. But you can also do some stitch in the ditch work using the Q-matic. And so it's kind of fun. The way you do stitch in the ditch, or actually you can make any type of line design, is you set markers. And so I'm going to turn that on. And now that that is turned on, I'm going to go over to the sew head. And I'm going to set a marker. This is my starting point. I'm going to move it a little bit. There. So I'm going to set a marker. And now I'm going to move along the line I want it to follow. Now, anytime it moves, the laser light moves off of the line I wanted to sew on, then I simply move it and set another marker. And so I just continue moving down the line. And as long as it stays right on the line where I want it to stitch, I'm okay. But as soon as it moves off, then all I have to do is set another marker. And so I'm going to go all along this line here. Whoops. Set. Along here. Set. Whoops, here. Set. Set. If you move back with the camera, then you can get both without. Okay, now I've reached the end. So I'm going to go over here, and now I'm going to click the button here, connect markers. And so I'm going to do the, I checked connect markers. Now I go here, I start one, and as I connect the markers, it draws a line. And then I say I want to sew that, and I'm going to start at the start point. Now I'll come over to the sew head, and I'll bring up the bobbin thread. And it'll start now. And this is how you can do stitch in the ditch using the Q-matic. So you don't have to use ruler work, you can use the Q-matic. So that's all there is to doing stitch in the ditch using the Q-matic. Or it's not even stitch in the ditch. You can make your own design, you can make your own pattern. What you do is you set your markers, and then you tell the sew head what sequence you want it to sew between each of the markers. And so it gives you a lot of flexibility and creativity to make your own designs. Well, I'm going to advance the quilt and do some more blocks. See you in a little while. Good morning. I'm back again. By the time I finished doing most of the quilt last night, it was dark and my cameraman had gone to bed. So we're back at it again this morning to do the final part. You'll notice that the quilt has been turned. So I pinned it a second time, but this time going along the long edge. I wanted to do the flashing, and you can turn designs on the Q-matic, but this time I wanted one continuous line for the whole side. I've already done the top and the bottom, and I did the other side. And so you'll notice also I did not pin on this leading edge. These are great little clamps, and I find that when I want to do a quilt that is not a large one, or that I want to do something like this, it's nice to have these so that I don't necessarily have to pin the other side. I still use the tape measure to make sure everything stays lined up, but I can use these clamps to make it go a little faster. So this morning I wanted to show you, I have selected borders and flat and sashing, and now I'm going to say match any tag, and it brings up all the options. You can see there are lots of options for borders or sashings. So what I've done is I chose the scrap paper. Since this is for a schoolboy, I chose the scrap paper, and now I'm going to again set this up and morph it to be the right size. And so I'm going to highlight that so it's active. I'm going to have it go to the sew head, and this time I'm going to have a 0.6 border. And now I'm going to set the... So again, you have to have 4 and only 4 points. So there's 1, 2, and if you happen to press one of them twice, that's a problem. Three, 4. Okay, there are my 4 points. Now I'm going to hit the green button, and it goes right into place. I'm going to hit go. Now I'm going to go to the start point, and just like one of the blocks, you can put on a sashing. So I need to go back to the sew head. Bring up the thread. Here it goes. And when this finishes its run, the only thing left is to take it off of the machine. So we'll be back soon. I'm doing the quilting in using more of the features, and can make kind of a fun back out of a plain back. So have fun quilting. If you have if you have or are considering a Q24, they're awesome. Lots of potential. You can use it either with the Q-matic, which I like doing, or you can use it without the Q-matic and do free motion or ruler work. So have fun, enjoy, and have a good day.